What up? I'm Jay, this is John, and today we review Pootie Tang for reals. Written and directed by Louis C.K., starring Lance Crouther, J.B. Smoove, Wanda Sykes, and Chris Rock. This movie's about Pootie Tang.
Sarate.
Musician, actor, and local hero of the ghetto. It's the chronicles of Pootie Tang's life. Pootie is representing all that is right in the world, and corporate America wants to stop this. In doing so, they drug him, and he accidentally signs a contract where they can use his likeness in all of their commercials. Pootie goes crazy, comes back, and he's gotta stop the bad guy with his belt of power. What's dope in this movie? I dug the soundtrack. I think that's probably the best part about this movie. This is 2001, so for me, I just got my license and I just remember cruising in my 96 Bonds listening to all these songs. So it's got a nice sentimental value for me.
Here comes Dirty D.
Lowdown and dirty, boy, you know what I'm about.
Dirty bastard.
Lay out my way and keep my name out your mouth.
That's Dirty D.
I enjoyed a lot of our characters in this movie. Wanda Sykes was the best character.
You come back tomorrow, we gonna have a party.
The moments with Chris Rock playing multiple characters was a little entertaining. I liked him as Daddy Tang.
You got to have respect to get respect, Pootie Tang.
And I felt the moments with JB and Lacey, they didn't get old, and right at the end, it just was like the funniest, where Chris Rock just loses it on him. I liked that kind of humor.
Yeah, you know it's hot too.
Yeah, that's why I said it, man. It is hot out here.
I know, I'm just saying it's hot too.
Well, I didn't love all the editing in this movie. I get it. They're trying to do kind of like a blaxploitation with like Shaft and Dolomite. You got the belt buckle flying at the screen like Batman and shit. One scene particular caught me off guard, which was absolutely hilarious, which was a showdown between Pootie Tang and Dirty D. I really liked Pootie Tang's outfits. He had a variety of outfits in this film, and like, I liked his style. I liked his attitude. I liked Pootie Tang, but Truckee to me was really, really funny, especially when he's dancing. Like, his moves were on point. I think Truckee reminded me more like Ducky from A Land Before Time. Either way, he was slightly more entertaining than everyone else. Before we move on to what's whack, it's time for the oh snap moment of the day.
Biggie Shorty's gonna take care of you. Don't you worry. Gonna have sex with you too, you know.
Oh, snap.
Now what's whack about this movie? Let me kick it off. The comedy is shit. It's absolute trash. This was bottom barrel, low-hanging fruit comedy, and I absolutely hated it. Louis C.K. I don't think is funny in the slightest. The moment that we see his name pop on screen, I'm just like, what the fuck are we getting into?
Did I teach you like that? Hey, don't you mumble, boy. Pootie, my boy.
Mama D.
Pootie, you're a good man.
And you're thinking, like, this was made in 2001. We're 2017 right now. Was it a period piece for this one? Yeah, it's like 16 years ago. Like, it's still not funny, and I don't think it was funny at the time either. I can't imagine it was. Another huge issue with this movie is the fact that Pootie Tang doesn't talk. It was like, it's one of those jokes that it's either really funny because they play it out so long, or it's really not. And this fucking guy doesn't say a word. He just rambles on some bullshit. So there's no like one-liners. You have to try and like understand how the other character is interpreting him.
That's about a shame, I tell you. What a tie.
And I just thought it wasn't funny from the beginning, and it wasn't funny at the end either. Yeah, it's an MTV style of movie, but even for MTV, this is just way too many cuts. In general, the fast cuts, not even from like set piece to set piece, but like if there's a fight sequence, or if there's any kind of dialogue or anything in this movie, the cuts are so fast, it's like a fucking music video, and they're chopping to the soundtrack. It drove me nuts, and it was just like irritating to watch. They obviously had a big
team that knew what they were doing, or so you'd think, and they probably did a lot of this stuff intentionally and thought it was funny, but at the end of the day, it also isn't.
And it's hard because, like, this is like Chris Rock's pinnacle. Like, this movie isn't his pinnacle, but this is where, like, Chris Rock was doing a lot of work. So to see his name attached to this movie, not just as like a cameo actor like how Wanda Sykes is, but a producer and someone heavily involved, you have to think, like, what are you doing, Chris?
Hey man, you going to the biggest party tomorrow, man?
Ran a can.
Thinking about what you just said, and talking about like the pinnacle of people's careers, this was also like the first starting point for somebody's career. A young Kristen Bell's very first movie is Pootie Tang, and I don't think anybody knows that. We're putting her on blast! Well, I didn't really like any of the characters. It was kind of weird to have Stifler's mom, like the first MILF ever, like the woman who created a whole genre of porn. I don't know why she was in this movie. It didn't really make sense, and maybe she was a little more popular at the time and it was a name draw, but I don't know her actual real name.
The same year this movie came out, they made Down to Earth, which is a Chris Rock film where he is a comedian, accidentally dies, and Angel Eugene Levy sends him back in a rich tycoon's body where she plays the same character, just like wants the D of the rich man to, she's a gold digger.
I don't remember this movie, and I'm certain I won't watch it. Well, who knows? Who fucking knows? I just watched Pootie Tang, for Christ's sake. Now it's time for the Lowdown. Having heard John praise this movie for years, trying to get me to watch it, I finally caved, and I don't think I'm ever gonna do it again.
I'm gonna sign your pity on the runny kind.
I hated this movie, just like I knew I would. I'd rather watch Soul Plane. I'd rather watch a lot of other shitty movies like that than watch this ever again. I won't watch it again. In the first 5 minutes, I knew that I was gonna hate it, and unfortunately, I just had to strap in there and try and get a little more toasted. The comedy's extremely bad, the editing's terrible and choppy, and Pootie Tang himself is just not an enjoyable character, despite John's love of his fashion. I'm gonna give this half a blackface David Cross out of 5.
If there's ever a movie that's my guilty pleasure, it's Pootie Tang.
What a top.
What a ta! How do you say the name note to 20 million? Why?
I know Pootie Tang is not a good movie. I just don't know why I like watching it. It is poorly paced, it's poorly cut, and it is not a good time. But that is what makes it a guilty pleasure, is because I know it's bad, and somehow I still watch it, and I try and tell people to watch it.
Don't, please.
I'm gonna tell you guys this. This movie, you don't want to watch. Despite how much I secretly love it, it is not a good movie. I still have a fun time watching it, even though it does suck. There are moments to this day that I've seen 100 times and still laugh at, but I think it's just a soundtrack. This has a great soundtrack, and I cruised to it so many nights. So with that being said, I'm gonna give this film 1.5 Michael Jackson references out of 5.
Turn that noise down, damn it!
As always, thank you for watching. Like this video and comment below with your thoughts on the film if you've seen it. If you haven't and you do want to check it out, there are links in the description where you can find it. If this is your first time here, keep it real by subscribing.